International Criminal Court officials jailed in Libya for almost a month say there's no chance Gaddafi's son, Saif al-Islam, will get a fair trial. The representatives were freed just days ago ahead of the country's parliamentary elections tomorrow, but the lead-up has seen bloody sectarian clashes with hundreds dead as one former rebel commander vows to prevent people from voting. More now then from political commentator Luke Samuel, who's joining us on the line from London. Luke, hello. If legal experts from the ICC are now declaring that Saif al-Islam's trial will be a sham, what does that say about the chance of a new start then for Libya now?
Well, it's important to note that the upcoming elections take place on the back of significant disunity within Libya. The National Transition Council has completely failed to cohere the people of Libya around any vision for how Libya should be taken forward. The result is that on the ground there is no significant majority in favour of any party fighting this election, although it looks as though the Muslim Brotherhood may negotiate their way to the top. Now, for the International Criminal Court, they really did stake their claim in Libya very, very early on, almost immediately after the uprising began. It was immediate that they issued indictments for the Gaddafi family. And so for now, for them to then go back on their old intervention by effectively saying that you can't receive a fair trial is quite striking. But I think the key point is that the disunity that we're seeing in Libya really has come around as a result of the Western intervention in the uprising, of which the ICC was very much a part. So they really have played a significant role in causing the disunity, which has led to what is now in Libya a very dangerous situation.
And of course, what are those many thousands of ordinary people who supported Gaddafi that are still in jails across Libya? If Saif al-Islam, such a high-profile figure, is doomed, it begs the question, what chance is there now for them?
Well, I think that's an interesting question. I mean, the ICC prosecutions are, by their very nature, political. You know, the ICC is used as a mechanism for trying those individuals, which may lend some political authority to the interventions of the West. And that's why the ICC is so often used in these interventions in order to bolster the authority of Western institutions. And it's also the fact that the NTC had its authority on the ground bolstered by these indictments. The indictments issued against the Gaddafi family lent artificial cohesion to the rebellion on the ground, a rebellion which has always been characterised by a very disparate set of material concerns on the ground. The rebellion was formed by, a mixture of Islamists, young people genuinely in search of freedom, people striking out against the old regime. And what the ICC effectively did was artificially give that rebellion a sense of unification, an artificial sense of political purpose. And that in the end has proved extremely destabilising, because as we've seen now, as we approach the elections, Libya is anything but unified. In fact, it looks as though it may revert, it's in danger of reverting to the kind of city-state setup that we had in the 1950s. So it really is an unstable situation brought about by the kind of meddling that the ICC formed part of.
Do you see any good coming after this election this weekend?
Well, at least this election is a chance for the people of Libya to have their say in the future of the country. And that really is a step forward from the way the rebellion and the uprising has unfolded so far. The NTC has never been elected. Its leader, Mustafa Jalil, has never been elected. He is effectively a Gaddafi crony put in place by Western governments in order to effect a transition, and having, as I said, completely failed to do so. So at least the election is a chance for some vestige of democracy to come to Libya. The Libyan people have shown themselves to be committed to the ideal of democracy. We saw earlier this year elections in Misrata for council representatives, which were undertaken completely against the will of the NTC. The NTC says they couldn't do it. The citizens of Misrata stood up and said, no, we are going to elect our own council representatives.
The oil-rich East, of course, crucial here. That's where the money is, that's where the wealth is. They're calling for an outright boycott of this election. Given how critical oil is for Libya's future, why aren't their concerns being more addressed?
Well, I think at the moment, analysts predict that the oil production in Libya is going to take a very long time to come back to what it was, precisely because of the destabilising forces that have unfolded in the course of the rebellion. So, you know, there is this, but it can't be positive that Libya is on the brink of reverting back to a state which it was in, you know, 60 years ago. No matter that there are legitimate concerns on the ground, those concerns really need to be cohered around a coherent vision about what not to just do with Libya's oil and with the revenue that it generates, but with the future of the whole country.
Bearing in mind everything you've said during our chat, now what is your prognosis for Libya as you see it?
Well, I don't want to make predictions, and I don't want to be a doomsday predictor, but I think that it is in a very unstable situation at the moment. On the ground, you know, at the moment you have militia fighting in the south, you have regions, as I've said, of Libya attempting to effectively become semi-autonomous, and until those concerns are addressed, and someone steps forward with a coherent plan as to how to take Libya's political project forward, then it will remain an extremely unstable situation.
Luke Samuel, political commentator and contributor to the Spiked online news website. Thank you.